This has been something of a touchy subject for many in Europe for a very long time. Merkel seems to be open to discussing joint debt issuance, and there are already vehicles that do that, aren't there, Maria, at the margin? But how seriously should we be taking talk of more pan-European debt raising?
Exactly. Look, essentially what this means, it's almost like a Corona bond, just to put it in very simple terms out there. This would be a joint debt instrument, of course, backed up by members of the euro area to almost kickstart the European economy. What I would say here, of course, is that Angela Merkel didn't say this is going to happen imminently, or she didn't even say this was the final conclusion. She just said, look, I'll have my finance minister look into it. Let's just explore it. But the idea that she didn't fully rule it out, that is significant enough, and that is making the market very excited about the prospect that we could get something. You do have to keep in mind that it's a huge departure from anything that Angela Merkel has said before. Even at the height of the euro crisis in 2012, the Germans said they would not go there. This was something they were not prepared to do. Now, just to give you a little bit of context into how this panned out, of course, we know that EU leaders met yesterday via conference. This was a long meeting, and the idea of perhaps putting together something that looked like a Corona bond was floated by the Italian Premier Giuseppe Conte. Of course, Italy is the focus of the coronavirus in Europe, but we're seeing that spreading. And what he said is that no single country in Europe is going to be able to deal with this alone. As I mentioned, it's not a foregone conclusion. It's not going to happen overnight. But of course, the fact that Angela Merkel opened perhaps the door to exploring it, it is significant.